Hello there, and welcome back to my tying bench again. And this time around I'm going to tie up a woolly bugger. And the only difference in this bugger, it's what they call a micro bugger. It's just a much smaller version of its big brother. And I tie it in the black here, and also olive's good, browns, purples. And it's a very effective fly. Sometimes they prefer the smaller sizes, so I thought you guys might like to see this guy tied up this time around. So I'll get this guy a device, a fresh hook in, and we'll get started here. Okay, the hook is a 3906B and it's on a size 10. Get that locked in the vise here. Okay, and I already have a black bead on it. It's a 1/8 inch black bead, small black bead. And for the weight on this bugger, I'm using 0.15 lead wire, small lead wire. And I'll do about 10 or 12 wraps. Okay, bring that around. Snip that there off of there. And I'll make a couple more wraps around the other direction here. Excuse my hands in the way there for a second. Okay, now let's wiggle that off. Okay, now before I push that up into the bead, I'm going to take a little bit of Zap-A-Gap here, super glue, and I'm just going to put a little tiny drop in between the bead and the lid, just like so. Then I'm just going to push that up in there. Just be careful not to get any of that on your fingers. Okay. Thread is UTC 70 black, and I'm going to start behind the lead here. And we'll build a little dam here, and I'll jump up on the lead, come up, back down. Then we'll move that thread back towards the bend here. We'll stop right about there. Snip off that tag end. Okay. Now, I'm going to wrap back forward a couple wraps and stop there. Now, for the tail, I'll get some black marabou here. And what I like to do is pull it all off the side of the feather. A small bunch. Like so here. And so, a lot of times I don't really like the straight ends on the end of the tail. So what I'll do is just take it and pinch it with my fingers. So you get more of a, the ends are more looking more fluffy on the ends, I find sometimes. Plus that gives it a little better action as well. So I'll measure that up, hook shank length, bring it back. Trim that a little bit, and we'll tie that guy in here. Right on top. Okay. Slide that back. Alrighty. Then wrap back on it. Lift, hold up while you wrap back. Just like so, and there's our tail. Gonna make one wrap underneath the tail and bring it up. And I'll come in and snip off that excess till it's just about behind the lid there. Okay, and we'll bind that down. And come back a little bit and stop there. There we go, there's our tail. Now for flash on this guy, I'm just going to use 2 strands of black crystal flash on each side. So I have a strand here, and I'm just going to fold it, so cut it so I get 2. Okay, then I'm going to bring that in. Put 2 on my side of the hook here. Just like so, and then I'm going to flip that around. Like so. Get 2 on the opposite side. Here, once I get a hold of them. Just like so, there we go. And we got 2 on each side of the tail, and I'll just come in. I want to clip those just a tad bit longer than the tail. Okay. Yeah, actually a little bit too long, so I'll give them another little snip. There we go. Okay. Now for the rib, I have some fine copper wire here I'm going to put in for a rib. So I'll just get a piece here. Okay. And I'll catch that in. Right underneath here. Just like so. Wrap back. So right in front of our tail. And we'll bind that down, wrapping forward. Okay, to right behind the lid. I'll stick that in the material clip. Alrighty, and for the body I have some black micro chenille. Really fine black chenille. And I'll tie that in right behind the lead here. Catch that in, wrap back to in front of the tail. Just like so, then bind it down, wrap forward. And we'll stop right behind the bead. And I'm going to throw on a 1/2 inch knot here because I'm going to wrap that with my rotary. So I'll bring my bobbin cradle around. Okay. Alrighty. Now, before I wrap this guy, like I always do for added durability, is a little bead of cement along that shank. There we go. Okie dokie. Now, I'll just begin to wrap our body here, and I'm going to make a couple turns, and I'm going to snug that down nice and tight. Make a few more turns and give it another nice snug pull. And we'll come up to where we want to tie it off, which is right about there. So I'm going to move my bobbin cradle out of the way here. And I'm going to come up and tie this chenille off. So I get it situated here. Okay, we'll wrap that. Tie around. One more wrap. And I'm going to come in and snip that off nice and close. Okay, I'll bring that back around. Alrighty, now I'm going to throw in a 1/2 inch. Okay. Okay, now the hackle, I have a nice long saddle hackle here, and I got that ready to tie in. And I want the concave side of the hackle facing rearward. So we'll tie that in right behind the bead here, like so. And I'm going to fold that stem back, wrap back onto it to lock it in there nice and tight. Snip off the excess. Okay, now we'll begin to palmer that. So we'll take one wrap here right by the bead. Then we're going to begin to wrap back, evenly spaced wraps, 4 to 5 wraps usually. Okay, now I'm going to bring that wire down underneath and up around so I can catch that hackle. Now I'm going to take 2 wraps first and then wrap forward. Just going to wiggle that a little so I don't trap too many fibers. Alrighty. And I'll tie that off. Couple wraps. Then a couple rearward to lock it down. Then we'll spin that right off. Helicopter it off here. There we go. Okay, stroke the hackle fibers back, and we're going to build a little thread collar. Then I don't want to forget to come in and snip off my excess in the rear here, the excess hackle. Just give that a little snip. There we go. Okay, there we have it. Just about a done deal. Now what I like to do is take a little bit of Zap-A-Gap, put a little bead on those thread wraps there, just like so, and wrap that in so it soaks in the thread wraps. Come in behind with my whip finisher, 3 or 4 wraps, come down, there we go, snug that in nice and tight, and I'll come in and snip off the excess, and he's a done deal. But I also like to take my head cement after I'm done the whip finish, and a little drop right on top of that bead on the top. It comes out on me there for some reason. Come on now. There we go. Let that soak in, then turn it upside down. Another little bead behind the bead underneath. And he's a done deal. Just a simple tie, same as any other woolly bugger you tie. It's just much smaller. So, what I want to mention, if it's your first time watching and you'd like to see more flies, hit the hit the subscribe button, and also throw in a like too if you wish. I'd appreciate that a lot also. And until next time, happy tying, and thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon, and so long for now, folks.